The Korvathi Military Academy was the finest in the sector. For 3 centuries, it had produced the galaxy's most elite officers. Graduates commanded fleets, directed campaigns, shaped military doctrine across dozens of species. Cadet Vix Rao, aged 12 by human standards, sat in the Academy's legendary library, surrounded by the accumulated military knowledge of civilizations spanning millennia. He was studying xenobiology. Understanding enemy species was fundamental to defeating them. The database had comprehensive files on every known civilization. Physiology, psychology, combat capabilities, cultural weaknesses. Every civilization except one. Species, Homo sapiens, origin, Earth, soul, system status. Classified access level required. Omega clearance. Vixral had never seen a file restricted at Omega level. Even information about extinct civilizations and forbidden weapons rated lower classifications. He tried secondary databases. Personnel records of officers who'd encountered humans. After-action reports from border skirmishes. Intelligence assessments. All classified. It was like someone had systematically erased humanity from official records, leaving only warnings. Restricted. Do not engage. Avoid contact. Why? Vixral asked his tactical instructor, Commander Seth Cole, a veteran of 40 campaigns. Instructor, why are human files classified? Seth Cole's expression closed immediately. That information is above your clearance level, cadet. Focus on your assigned studies, but surely understanding all potential adversaries. Dismissed, cadet. Vixral tried other instructors. Same response. Senior cadets gave him nervous looks and changed subjects. Even the academy librarian, usually eager to help students research, suddenly became unhelpful when humans were mentioned. The silence itself became information. Whatever humans were, the knowledge terrified people who dedicated their lives to warfare. Finally, Vixral remembered retired Commander Thelkor. The old Korvathi lived in a small dwelling near the academy, granted by grateful authorities for his decades of service. Thelkor had fought in the border campaigns 40 years ago, conflicts that officially never happened against an enemy that officially didn't exist. Vixral found him tending a small garden. Commander Thelkor? I'm Cadet Vixral. I have questions about humans, Thelkor finished. His mandibles clicked in what might have been a sigh. Every year, a few cadets find their way to me. Every year, I wonder if I should just stay silent. Then why don't you? Thelkor's 4 eyes studied him. Because silence breeds ignorance. And ignorance breeds the arrogance that gets soldiers killed. Sit down, cadet. Vixral sat. For 3 hours, Thelkor talked. Not about tactics or capabilities. Not about fleet compositions or technological assessments. He told stories. First encounter, Thelkor began, was a border skirmish in the Glee system. Small human colony, maybe 10,000 civilians. We sent a battle group, 12 warships. Standard intimidation. Expected surrender. He paused, staring at nothing. They had 3 patrol ships. Corvettes. Barely armed. They engaged anyway. We destroyed the first 2 easily. The third rammed our flagship. Deliberate. Calculated. Suicidal. Killed everyone aboard both vessels. Desperation. Vixral suggested. That's what we thought. Then we learned the ramming ship's captain had evacuated his crew first. He stayed alone. Piloted manually. Aimed for maximum damage. It wasn't desperation. It was tactical sacrifice. More stories followed, each worse than the last. Civilian settlements that fought with improvised weapons when proper arms were unavailable. Colony ships that self-destructed rather than allow capture. Soldiers who continued fighting after injuries that would incapacitate any sane species. At the Battle of Kepler, 452, Thelkor continued. We captured a human medical station. Non-combatants, doctors, nurses, patience. They negotiated surrender, agreed to terms. We began evacuation. His voice dropped. Halfway through, we realized they'd planted explosives throughout the station. Time to detonate after they confirmed we'd loaded our maximum boarding party. They knew some humans would die in the blast. They accepted it. 200 humans died. For 1,000 of ours. Vixral felt sick. What? Because humans don't calculate cost-benefit the way we do. They calculate acceptable losses. There's a difference. The stories continued, each one revealing a pattern. Humans viewed death as a tactical option. They weaponized sacrifice. They didn't fight to win. They fought until you decided winning wasn't worth the price. So they're warriors. Vixral asked when Thelkor finally paused. The old commander considered the question carefully. No. Warriors fight for glory, honor, victory. Humans fight for survival. And they learned, over millions of years on a death world that tried repeatedly to exterminate them, that survival means breaking every rule, violating every convention, and making victory too expensive for your enemy. He met Vixral's eyes. They're not warriors, cadet. They're survivors who learn to weaponize desperation. They'll lose 100 battles if it means winning the war. They'll sacrifice millions if it means billions survive. They'll turn every defeat into a lesson for future victory. Then how do you fight them? Thelkor's mandibles clicked in bitter humor. You don't. You establish boundaries and pray they respect them. You avoid conflict because every engagement teaches them more about you than you learn about them. You classify their files because detailed knowledge makes young officers arrogant, and arrogance against humans is fatal. He stood, signaling the conversation was ending. That's why human files are classified, cadet. Not to protect us from knowledge. To protect us from ourselves. Because every officer who studies humans eventually reaches the same conclusion I did 40 years ago. What conclusion? That fighting humanity isn't warfare. It's evolution. And they've been evolving longer than us.